Hello and welcome to IPTSE IPR Podcast, India's only IPR podcast. Today we have Mr. NISHANT SHARMA from Dolby Technologies as our speaker. Let's know his story from an engineer to an IP expert. Sir,
Hi.
so can you please give us a short introduction about you first?
Right. So I'm NISHANT SHARMA. I handle the patent licensing and litigation for Dolby Technology India, which is a subsidiary of Dolby Labs in US. And I have been in the field of IP for the past 17-18 years now. Have handled different domains under IP practice, such as IP prosecution, litigation, and now I'm handling primarily licensing.
Okay, so we got to know you're a part of the patent licensing program
Right.
in Dolby. Can you tell us about that?
Right. So, patent licensing is a very interesting field in the sense that it is where you commercialize your protected IP. And I particularly handle the patent licensing program for Dolby, wherein we have some standardized technologies, and on those standardized technologies, we have patents. And anyone who uses those patents, we contact them, ask them to take a license on those technologies.
Okay.
Because they are using those technologies,
Yes.
and since these are standardized technologies, almost everyone is using them in their phones, in their devices, and that's my job. My job is to in a way contact them, apprise them that they are using our technology and they need to take a license, and then I contact them and have discussions with them and convert them to licensing from
Okay.
a mere implementer.
Got it. So, and also we got to know that you started your career from India's foremost aeronautics and defense company, HL,
Yeah.
Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us about your experience there, working in the defense sector and aviation, everything?
Right. So I think working with the defense sector and it's a very gives you a sense of pride, because obviously you are serving the nation, you are serving the government, and the defense sector I think is the most important sector for the Indian government in that sense. And serving, having been able to serve that sector for maybe more than 3.5 years, I believe, is really I get a sense of pride in that. Again, working for the government sector, you get all the facilities in the sense that you are trained well. You get the best training available. So I was trained at by some of the most I would say prominent players in the management side, in the technology side. I was fortunate enough to get a training on aeronautical engineering by IIT professors. So we had a 6-month course at the IIT Madras, where we were in a way trained on different aspects of aeronautical engineering and also production and manufacturing of aircrafts. So in that sense, yes, I would say it was a very good experience. After completing my training, I was placed in a division which manufactured licensed, which was involved in licensed production of aircrafts, Russian aircrafts for the Indian Air Force. And again, that was a very enriching experience, because you were able to, in a way, I was able to learn about new technology, and again, the most advanced technology in multi-role aircrafts, fighters,
Aircrafts.
Right. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like we just talked about, you are from engineering background,
Right.
and now you are into law background.
Yeah.
So, what made you this career switch, and what are your thoughts about it?
See, it was more of an accidental sort of thing. Again, I was working for HAL, as I said, for more than 3.5 years, and eventually everything, in a way, apart from the aspect that you get to the best of training and you get to work on the advanced technology, sometimes the government jobs also get a bit saturating, in the sense that you feel that you are not growing in some sort,
You wanna make
because
a
you
switch.
are. Yeah. So I thought of going for a switch, and then there was an advertisement in a newspaper which was calling for. There was a law firm which called for patent engineers, and at that point of time, I think the IP field was just opening up, wherein technical people were being sought by law firms a lot, and primarily because there were amendments in 2005, and the patent agent examination thing came up in a big way. And so law firms were also hiring engineers, and then I saw this ad, and I thought I should apply for it because it appeared to be very exciting. And applied for it, got through it, and then eventually I started with at first I started with reading the files, learning about the basics of IP, and then eventually I got deeper
into this field
it. And then
how interesting it is in watching everything.
Yeah, and finally I realized that I have some legal acumen, and thus I should be going for LLB, and that's how I
in 2012.
Yeah,
okay. And as we also know that you have like so much experience in patent design prosecution and opposition cancellation.
Yeah.
Can you explain to our viewers who are also freshers, students, that what are these and how different and important each one of them are?
Right. So prosecution is, I would say, it would be considered as the beginning of your IP creation. Yeah, because here you are in a way protecting your intellectual property rights.
Okay.
You present your intellectual property to the authorities for. In a way, for getting a registration of those done. You explain to those authorities how those IPs are unique, and maybe how your creation is it should be, it is valuable and it should be granted a protection. And that's what happens in the prosecution stage. Cancellation and opposition is towards the contentious side, wherein it is somewhat like you can challenge someone who is trying to, in a way, protect some innovation which is or innovation or creation which should not be granted protection. So what happens sometimes is that there are some creations which are already in the public domain, and you cannot claim monopoly rights over something which is already there in the public domain. So that is prohibited under law. So by way of cancellation and opposition proceedings, what you can do is, if someone is trying to, in a way, protect something which is already there in the public domain, which is there for the public, and he's just trying to get a monopolistic right on that, you can stop him by filing a cancellation of proceeding before the authorities, the same authorities which are granting the IP rights. You can challenge those IP rights before the same authority.
Okay, that's actually a very good point. I personally didn't know that. Okay. So, and then, like, you have worked in the IP field around 2 decades now, right? And what were you think some important landscape or point in the histories, which were crucial for both India and abroad? And, like, do you think were there any loopholes which happened?
So again, I would say it would. The most recent changes that have started happening would be, I would say it started somewhere around 2005 when the Patents Act was amended in line with the TRIPS agreement. And there were substantial changes that were brought into the Patents Act. And thereafter, I believe the law has been evolving. We are still not at the stage where
we are evolving.
We can say that we are at that stage where everything is defined, and there is immense clarity regarding what the legal provisions should look like and how those should be implemented. But we are still evolving, as I said. The important developments would be, I would say, the law has evolved in respect of the interpretation of Section 3K, Section 3D. Again, Section 8, earlier it was applied in a very limited sense in litigation, and which was in a way hampering the rights of IP holders. But now the courts have interpreted it in a way which protects them and doesn't hamper their rights unnecessarily.
Okay.
So I would say the courts have been doing it now quite on a regular basis. The other developments, I would say, are the formation of the IP divisions in the courts, which are now doing a splendid job listening to IP matters, trying to, in a way, reduce the pendency in terms of how the IP matters are resolved.
And do you think most of it is because the national IPR policy back in 2016 which happened?
Yeah.
And anything which should be done in that to improve it?
So I think all these changes that I talked about, and some other changes like creation of spreading IP awareness. All these things are a part of the national IPR policy, and I think we as IP fraternity and the government in also are supporting all those activities in a way so as to give the effect to the national IPR policy. So we are doing a lot on the IP awareness aspect, wherein we are spreading IP knowledge in amongst students in schools, in colleges. And I think that's a very good thing to do, because all citizens of this country need to be aware of what IP is. It needs to be protected, and it also needs to be respected for the IP pertaining to others. So you should not be in a way using it without paying the necessary royalty to that particular person.
Like, so that's most common example is the piracy part.
Right. Yeah.
Most common in India.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you got your engineering degree back in 2001.
Right.
Then after so many years, your LLB in 2012.
Yeah.
And then after that, your LLM just last year.
Right.
So I just wanted to know personally, what was that change to get back to that receiving part of the class? Was it difficult?
It is difficult because when you are in
Out of
college,
habit.
when you are in college, you just have the responsibility of handling your classes, your examinations, and that's it. But when you enter in again in the academics field, when you are pursuing your professional life as well, it becomes very difficult, because you have to handle your professional tasks alongside your educational
Everything.
thing and personal things.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right, and that's what I was coming to. You need the support of your family in that, because they need to support you in the sense that you need to you would be in a way cut off from your family for some time throughout the year, because whenever you have exams, you need to concentrate on that.
Off from everyone.
Right. So it is a bit difficult. I would say it is, but yes, again, if you need to go for your professional development, at times you may feel that yes, you need to enhance your academic value.
You should do it.
You will have to go for it.
So I guess many working professionals also watch IPTSE and keep a focus on it. And if anyone is looking for a change, or they want to make a switch in their careers, in their field of profession, is there any tip or anything they should keep in mind?
So I would say the change should not be for the sake of
Change.
For the sake of change.
Yeah.
You have to evaluate any change in the sense that what you would be adding to that particular place where you are going, and what that place would be adding to your own profile or your own I would say horizon in that sense. So you need to evaluate any change in that respect. Obviously there are risks involved. You need to take risks at times, like when I was shifting from HAL to the IP field, I was in a government job, a very stable government job, and I did take a risk at that time, but I did evaluate as well that okay, this is an upcoming field, maybe this won't get saturated as fast as the other normal conventional jobs are. So in that sense, I would say you make your own assessment, you make your own analysis based on your own circumstances, because you would have your own responsibilities, your own liabilities, and based on that you decide whether or not you need to shift. But yeah, if you feel that there is some place which can, in a way, there's a need, and there's some place which can in a way help you grow further, you should definitely make that move.
And I guess one of the last few is, for example, I'm an IP student.
Right.
Okay, I'm not, but if I am, and I'm
you can become one.
Yeah, any day I can become one.
Right.
Yes. So, anything which I should do, or kind of thing like for a student, if they are gonna pursue IP in the future.
Right. So I would say again, as I said, IP field in India is evolving, and it is a very good time to be in this field, because you
are part of it.
Right, because you are seeing how the law is changing.
Yeah.
So as of now, what we were doing earlier was just reading through the Bare Act and just evaluate as to how that particular section or particular legislation would play. But now when you see the courts in a way interpreting all those
the law is in favor of IP.
Right. So when they are interpreting those, you get the better understanding of how the law is playing around all those provisions.
Right.
So as I said, this is a very good time to be in the IP field. You need to read a lot. One thing that I advise everyone is you need to read a lot. It's not only about IP books or maybe IP decisions or decisions of the court or something like that. You could read anything. It only increases your I would say vocabulary, because you, as an IP lawyer, you would be interacting a lot with courts as well as with the authorities, and you need to have that sort of
absorbing power, I guess.
Right. And the bank on which you would in a way rely to put across your arguments before these authorities. And anything you read, it always helps you increase your knowledge about how things are happening. So you should be reading a lot, assimilating from the environment. You would be watching your seniors arguing before the court and maybe arguing with the authorities. So you could learn from that as well, because how a particular argument is to be put across, it could be done in, say, n number of ways. You would be watching n different type of individuals, and you'd learn everything, all the different aspects from them. So I think these are few things that students could look into. Read a lot, and gather from your seniors, from the environment, and
whatever source that can be.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And so lastly, I guess you know about IPTSE.
Yeah.
Okay. So we provide students and insight into the world of IP.
Right.
Whoever it is, even if they don't know about IP.
Right.
Do you think is it important for us to keep continuing this work, and how is it important for the student part also?
Again, as I said, I am a big proponent of spreading IP awareness. As I said, all citizens of this country need to know about IP, the value of IP, creation of IP, and again, protection of IP, then respecting others' IP as well. So I believe in that sense, IPTSE is doing a very good job educating people, and also preparing students for
books, webinars, seminars, different things.
Yeah, and I know that you engage different professional IP personnel who in a way train your students and provide them with the relevant knowledge, the most updated knowledge. So in that sense, I would say IPTSE is doing a very good job, and you should continue doing that.
Okay, so I guess that will be the end of it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You're a great speaker for the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.